But when we start to remove the barrier of this intense learning or difficult learning process, and we start making it feel more natural and easy to be creative and create something, first of all, you'll see people excel and create stuff that is far beyond something that they could have done 5 years from that point. But even more, it allows more of those people that are somewhat interested to get in and find enjoyment in what they're doing.
The future of music.
The future of music. The future of music.
The future of music.
The future of music.
The Future of Music podcast.
Hey there once again, and welcome to the Future of Music podcast, where we show you always how to survive and thrive in the future of music. My name is Ryan Withrow, one of your hosts, your only host today. Jonathan, for some reason, thinks it's cool to travel or something, I guess. And he is currently, I think, taking like 2 days worth of flights to get across the entire world. So you will have to deal with just me and my hair versus him and the bald head. So I'm very happy to have you here watching and listening. And I'm excited about today because if you can't tell already, I am a big fan of music-related tools and new music technology and software platforms. So much that I am going through all of these processes of digging in, trying out VR, trying out the AR stuff, looking at new AI versions of technology for music. And this is really going to benefit a lot of you out there listening, whether you like to create music in things like digital audio workstations, play music, just enjoy trying to be creative at times. And if you are somebody that's really interested in blending the two, the music, the creativity side, but then also the side of technology, AI, VR, all of that stuff. So today we're going to really show you something incredible that's come out from one of the biggest companies in the game when it comes to software and technology in music creation, and specifically synthesizers. So I'm really excited to show you that. I'm also excited to tell you to make sure you click the like, subscribe, and follow button so that you're notified of every single episode that John and I do here on the Future of Music podcast. And make sure you follow us on your favorite platform and give us a good old rating if you wish. But let's dive in. So what we're talking about today and what I want you to open your ears to and start to really enjoy the idea of is this new thing from Moog. Moog. Now, for those of you that don't know Moog, they are huge in the synthesizer world, and they have decided that it's time to come out and start working within the Apple Vision Pro. So we're talking about, and I know we've talked about synthesizers in things like Quest and Apple Vision Pro, but I don't think we've talked about something of this magnitude. Moog, like one of the titans in the synthesizer world, specifically digital synthesizers, is now getting into the game with Apple Vision Pro. So they have stated you can now unlock another dimension with the Animoog Galaxy. It sounds like something in a spaceship, and maybe it should feel that way and sound that way as well. We're going to watch a video. But outside of that, they have come out with Animoog Galaxy. Animoog Galaxy is an exciting new music production app designed exclusively for Apple Vision Pro. And with this, it's run on Moog's engine, the synth engine that they use. It's multi-sensory. It's a creative tool that introduces users to an immersive experience with synthesizers. I'll give you a little more here specifically from Moog. Animoog Galaxy embodies the immediate and intuitive experience of playing a Moog instrument and applies it to a spatial computing, enabling the user to quickly sculpt incredibly fluid sounds that live, breathe, and evolve in all dimensions. This is kind of cool stuff. So let's just get into the video. For those of you watching on YouTube, you'll be able to watch the video. For those of you not watching, I'll keep the sound in there because you're going to be able to hear what this sounds like, knowing that it's 100% created and generated within the Apple Vision Pro using Animoog Galaxy. So let's take a look.
All right, so this is my first test here on Animoog Galaxy. Man, this thing is really cool. Seriously, you can basically draw whatever you want here. You have the keys, you have a scale, of course, that you can choose. If I turn all the keys here, you hear more of the filters opening up. course. So there you go. So let's try something here.
And there you have it. It's pretty amazing stuff. So for those of you watching and for those of you not watching that video, I'll give you a high level of what's happening. So when you're in that VR headspace or AR and you have the Apple Vision Pro in, you're completely immersed. So what you see around you is galaxies, stars. You're just in the middle of nowhere. And in front of you is the entire synthesizer production area. And I think the best part about this, honestly, and one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it on the podcast here is because when you think about synthesizers and you see all of these people getting into physical synthesizers, it's hard. It's really difficult. I swear it takes like a PhD to understand what's going on with an actual physical synthesizer. There's so many knobs. There's so many things that you're doing to manipulate the sound waves that even the slightest thing here and then over to the right and then to the left will make a completely different sound if you did it reverse. And it takes a lot of work and studying and time and effort to really master playing on a synthesizer, like the actual full scale synthesizers. But when you look at something like this, it's what we would say is more natural and intuitive. So instead of having to know where all of these dials are, what they do, how they change the sine wave versus instead of having to focus on that, it's all visual and pinch based. So if I want to change the actual movement of the sound wave, I actually pinch with my fingers and I can adjust it and move it left, right, up, down, diagonal and change what's going on. Let alone there's also this imagery that happens in front of you. You can actually create pictures or squares or geometric objects so that your sounds are all encased and bouncing around like bouncing balls all around inside of what you created. And then you can move it and open it up and they move around more. And every time those little dots are moving around, they're creating another variation of sound as they go through. So one of the reasons I really like this on the surface is because it's easy. It's more fun. I think once we start to remove the barrier of having to learn something physical, and John talks about this all the time with the guitar, one of the reasons people fail when they play a physical instrument is because the actual mechanics of playing an instrument are difficult. They're just hard. They take time. They're learnable, if that's a word, but you can learn it. And it takes time and process and practice and energy and commitment. But when we start to remove the barrier of this intense learning or difficult learning process, and we start making it feel more natural and easy to be creative and create something, first of all, you'll see people excel and create stuff that is far beyond something that they could have done 5 years from that point. But even more, it allows more of those people that are somewhat interested to get in and find enjoyment in what they're doing. So what are some of the use cases of something like this? Obviously, we've seen that Apple is using DAWs within the Apple Vision Pro. Quest 3 is doing the same. We have things like Piano Vision. We have things like Virtuoso. We have all of these creative tools. And now we're starting to see those fully develop in Apple Vision Pro so that at the end of the day, the goal is not just to be within this one platform playing around and having a good time and just being creative, but to start integrating that with all of these other platforms. Again, at the end of the day, I guarantee you within this next year, people will be creating entire songs produced 100%, recorded 100% on something like the Apple Vision Pro. I mean, we're only, a month or 2 months into them having released the Apple Vision Pro, and we already have a DAW, and we already have instruments, multiple instruments that could be played within that. It's only a matter of time before we start to combine those and see productions happening within that environment. Let alone another thing that we talk about a lot, when you look at the video, and if you haven't yet, go to YouTube and watch it on our actual channel. One of the things that I love about Apple Vision Pro and Quest is the environment. your surroundings? Where are you immersing yourself? Right now, if I wanted to play with the synthesizer, you're looking at it. It's my desk. That's all it is. It's just my desk in my office, and that's all I have. Whereas in this, as you look at the video, you can see that you are immersed in space. It's just galaxies all around you and stars all around you, blacked out, and you've got your platform in front of you. There are no distractions, and it's just an environment that feels comfortable and creative. So not only are we seeing this ability to get people in tune with music and in touch with music and creativity far faster, but I feel like we're going to be able to create much better music and much more emotional and connecting music because we're able to disconnect and get into this space of immersion that brings about full amounts of creativity that you don't get sitting at a white desk with all of your equipment and your home and everything around it. It's an amazing thing. So what I'm going to make sure we do here is actually link the website and the sources from Moog specifically, as well as the full video. I only gave you about half of what that video dives into so that you could take a look yourself and go check it out. I highly recommend you start paying attention to this stuff. Why? Because it's shifting, and it's shifting quickly. So start to embrace, start to dig in, start to study, and take a look at Animoog Galaxy from Moog on the Apple Vision Pro. Until next time, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I know it was a short one, but it's impactful, and you better go check out Moog. Outside of that, John will be back in the next episode. So look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing you on the next Future of Music podcast.